Welcome to today's session on increasing profits with minimal time and overhead. We're going to wait just a couple of minutes as people join. In the meantime, we'll launch a poll so we can learn a little more about you. So hang tight for a minute. If you've logged in, we're just going to wait another minute here as people enter the tool and get ready for the webinar. All right. Perhaps we can take down the poll at this point. So welcome, everybody. My name is Dave Anderson, and I'm the producer of today's webinar for Evergreen. We're going to cover a number of things. I'd like to introduce you to Evergreen, the host of today's webinar, and to our speakers, Chef Alan and Jeff from Evergreen. Chef Alan's going to be covering a featured topic, which is increasing profits with minimal time and overhead. And then Jeff is going to be talking to us about Evergreen's loyalty program very briefly and have a special offer for today's attendees. Then we're going to have a little bit of time for Q&A. After those topics are covered, feel free to type your questions into the question tool. You'll see a question mark in your interface. Feel free to type in a question that we can address in Q&A. We might even address it in the flow of our talk, but for sure we'll try to get to the questions by the end. And the expected time of today's session is 30 minutes. So I'd like to talk very briefly about what Evergreen does, so you know a little bit more about today's hosts for the meeting. Evergreen enables contactless digital menus via QR codes that are scannable. It's really a one-stop shop for menu creation, for managing menus. Evergreen also, of course, does print menus. So it's a seamless process to create print or digital menus. You can also update a menu from Evergreen's online tool, and your website's menu will automatically display your current offerings. And Evergreen also does social media scheduling and monitoring, so they can help businesses to monitor their social media accounts from one place and track and manage their online reputation. And with that, I'd like to introduce today's guest speaker. So we're joined today by Chef Alan Susser. Chef has been called the Ponce de Leon of New Floridian cooking by the New York Times. He's also the owner of Chef Alan's Consulting. He helps restaurants and hospitality uh, businesses to work on their strategic initiatives. He provides culinary resources. He provides innovative direction for the industry. He is a James Beard Award-winning renowned chef and author, and his firm brings expertise and experience to the culinary world to help restaurants and hospitality businesses achieve their goals and stay ahead in a very competitive market. Hello, Chef Allen.
Well, a pleasure to be here with you. There's always so much information that you take in the restaurant business and the bar business. And I have found as a consultant that there are details that often get overlooked or not thought about on a continuous basis. And that's kind of a little bit what I want to talk to you about today is is how to keep track of it, how to leverage some of the topics that we're going to talk about, and kind of why are we in business? To make some money. Okay, we want to serve the community, make some money, as well as hopefully be a good community citizen. So I think that's kind of where it begins. Uh, Looking at what makes your business profitable, I think there are some obvious things, and controlling a business is really the key to what makes a business profitable. The largest component is food and beverage cost, whether it's an upscale restaurant, a mid-scale, casual bar, destination bar. You need to focus on the food and beverage costs that are there, and I'll go into further detail as we go on. Further on with the introduction is also getting new customers. That is tremendous. You need to always get new customers. You always need to look at how to find them and then also how to keep them. But reaching out to the community, reaching out to any which way, there's lots of methods, and we'll get into that. Getting customers to come back. Now, getting them in the first time is modestly easy. Getting them to come back, you've got to give them all of the reasons to return, and you also have to give them the tools and components that you can have to have them be returning customers. And we'll get into that as well as we get through this discussion. Uh, Labor cost and hospitality. Labor has become a really big issue, and looking at it, there's labor front of house, back of house, top of house, and then how you manage it through your hospitality system. I think that's going to be an important factor that we'll talk about. And then leadership, leading your team, being a leader for your team, having a clear story, being able to get through to them what your story is, what your food is, what your beverage service is, and also giving them more reasons to be there than just the dollars and cents. And that's kind of how this all comes together. And I think you'll see as we go through this where it makes the best sense. So we're going to go on from here, talking about food and beverage costs. And as I said, it's controlling food and beverage costs. Uh, when you're talking about food and beverage, you have to consider what it is that you're serving. Uh, the cost is all about quality. There's no problem if you're serving a low-end beverage or low-end food, but the value has to be appropriate for what you're serving. So you need to understand the market. It's not just price alone, but the price for the quality. So understanding it, leading it in the proper way from a menu standpoint, having the flexibility in your menu so that when you have food bump or price bumps in either food or beverage, that you can make the appropriate decisions, whether that decision is to raise the price, whether it is to hold its own because it's doing great, or whether you should be taking it off the menu because it's just not working. So having these tools are really important in knowing your food and beverage costs. So I think these are really important. So going on here, we're going to talk about how do you get new customers, okay? how do they walk through the door? Of course, the old saying is location, location, location.
Hmm.
And guess what? Not all of us can afford the location. We'd love to have the great location where everybody has to go past your door. You have a great activity. The restaurant looks great. And so they just happenstance that they come in and you have new customers. But with that, if you don't have a location, and many of us don't, we try, but you have to know how to tell your story. You need to be able to look at what you're doing and present it to your customers so it becomes attractive. And whether you're attracting them on the internet, on social media, on signage, or whatever you're doing, there's a lot of ways. And quite honestly, one of my favorite ways is through the menu. Through the menu is really how you tell your story because that's how they understand who you are. It tells the price point, it tells the style of service, and then it goes on from there. And you'll find out that customers are actually good receivers. They understand what you're doing. And when you have that match of telling your story, who's coming in, and you're giving them what they want, that's how you're going to get the new customers. So going on from there, we're talking about getting return customers. Okay, to get return customers, there it's the difficult part. What you have to do is obviously you have to give them a good value for what they have come in for, so that you have to live up to the expectations and you have to deliver a great experience. You have to keep it fresh. A lot of people do seasonal menus. I love seasonal menus. I think it makes a lot of sense, and having a good menu tool to change it appropriately, like Evergreen, that makes a lot of sense for me. Providing
Alan,
customer
I,
rewards also is another opportunity that I think you'll find can work. And later on, we're going to go into that component with Jeffrey as to how customer rewards can develop for getting customers back. Because you need to be able to talk to your customers, and also just as simple as when they walk in the door, greet them with a smile. When they're finished with their meal, say thank you. Before they walk out the door, again, say thank you. Hope you're coming back. Okay, but there's more to do than that. So
Alan, I was going to
on
jump
from
in
there,
and
I've got some other points I'd like to share with you, and that is thinking about how to develop the next steps. Okay, you need to think about improving operational consistency because the efficiency and the consistency is what people want. They want to know what they had last time they can get the next time. They want to know that they can depend on it. They want to know that if they're bringing their friends or their family, they've come to the right place because they've been there before. Or if it's a first time experience, they want to know that the next time, if it's been desirable and they have a good thing, that's great. Quite honestly, one of the things that happens is if people have a good front of house experience, they'll come back. They're forgiving on the front of house, but on the back of house, where if the food's not good, they're less likely to come back, or the drinks aren't made appropriately, or the service was slow. So that designing this in to an operational standard of operation, SOPs, recipes, so that you don't dilute what's happening. Because what happens is, we all know it, you teach an opening team or you teach a team, and then somebody leaves, someone who comes in. Do they get the same original training? Do they get the full emphasis of what's going on in the restaurant? Do they get to tell the whole story? What is your training about with that? And how do you focus on the details on that training? Because that's very essential to understand, because they're your ambassadors. They're the ones who are going to be able to tell your story to your customers. And so that you want to be specific about it. Don't leave it to chance, because chances are it will not happen in the fashion that you want it to. So stay focused and focus on the details. I think that you'll find that to be a worthwhile thing. Looking at hospitality and labor cost. Okay, controlling labor cost. Wow, it's really become a big issue. The past 3, 5 years, everybody's getting a higher wage. They're, less tip credit. They're looking for more from the job in money. And so that to control that, you need to do good training. You have to develop good teamwork and do it creatively. Do something where it's fun. Create some fun environment for the team to come in, because again, as I suggest, this is who is taking care of our guests, and we need to look at them as a whole component of the people picture is our labor, and not just look at it, well, this one's coming in late and this one's running overtime and I hate what they're doing. You got to get over that. You've got to be able to manage it, control it, and bring hospitality into it. Use hospitality where you encourage them to smile, you encourage them to give from themselves. You give them a story to tell, but encourage them to add to the story. This is kind of where it makes a lot of sense. And people like that. They want to know, again, a little bit about it, not too interfering. I mean, you have to read your customers. You have to train your staff to read their customers, and appropriately serve them with what they want, so that, use hospitality to deliver an experience. That's really the way going forward with that. I'd like to talk about leadership, because leadership, that's about who you hire, finding the right person to be your leader. And I'm not talking about the GM only, or the chef, or the front of house manager. I'm talking about leaders at each and every level of the restaurant and the bar business. You have to find leaders, people who take initiative, who care about what they're doing, who don't brush whatever it is under the table, who look at the person they're working with and say, hey, is that the right thing to do? Are we working together? So the leadership is something that you hire for. You have to hire the right person with that. They, in turn, will lead the customer through the experience for you. And that's really what you want to do. You want to have, from the moment they walk through the door, say hello to them, bring through the experience, however it is, whether they're seating themselves, coming up to the counter, coming up to the bar. Make it obvious of how this operation works. Don't let them come in and start to figure it out, because all of a sudden they can become uneasy. And that's why you need to empower the team to deliver the experience, as well as set up the restaurant or the bar appropriately, so it becomes obvious how to approach the restaurant, how to approach the bar, how to get what you want, how to be a part of it and fit in. Nobody wants to come into a restaurant or bar and feel awkward. And this is all about leadership. This is all about understanding who you are and being able to bring this all forward in that sort of fashion. So, finding leaders, yes, it's hard. It's hard. You have to talk to a lot of people. But when you do find that leader in a leadership role, give him the authority, give him the responsibility once you feel comfortable with it, so that it's not on your shoulders. If every decision on your shoulders, then it's on your back. And you have to be able to trust your leaders, and you have to be able to trust that they're doing the right thing, because you've trained them, you've developed them, and you work on through them. So that's kind of what I want to suggest about leadership. Okay, going on
Yeah,
from here.
fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. So Alan has covered a number of topics for us at a high level, and feel free to enter into the chat tool questions that you would have for him, and we'll have Q&A in a few minutes, and we'll have a chance to read those questions and hear how Chef Alan responds. So thanks, Alan. That gives us a lot to think about and a lot to prioritize in today's
Pleasure.
businesses. um, So starting this spring, Evergreen enables loyalty programs. Alan talked about keeping customers coming back and about customer rewards and loyalty. And Evergreen has started to enable this, ways to keep customers returning to restaurants, bars, and small businesses. And so you're going to be hearing about that from Jeff. Jeff is Evergreen's Director of Operations. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about how customer loyalty works with Evergreen.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all for your time and thank you for that great introduction, Dave. If we want to move to the next slide, I'm really excited to tell everyone about Evergreen's most recent product. It's a loyalty program, or as we like to call it, a loyalty program for the modern era. Essentially, we're working to take the concept of the punch cards you used to use at maybe your local ice cream shop. We're really elevating it. And it works like this. You prompt your customers to scan a QR code like the one displayed in front of you, likely on a table tent, to join a free loyalty program. You, as a business leader, then collect their name, their phone number, their email, even their birthday. This in turn allows you to send push notifications to them that will entice them to keep coming back, really fostering that loyal customer base. All the information is captured and saved in the customer's phone. After we finish this demonstration, we're also going to showcase a special offer for you guys. So how does it work? Using a simple card builder, you can create a variety of different cards, including stamp cards, coupon cards, discount cards, as well as even cash back cards and more. The best part is your customer, will not need to download another worthless app, as all loyalty cards are saved on the Google Wallet or the Apple Wallet, depending on the customer's phone. Now, you might be asking yourself how your staff will manage this system. Well, Evergreen provides a free scanner app that will work on any smartphone, meaning no additional hardware is required. After your staff scans a customer loyalty card, they have the ability to provide points and rewards based on the customer's purchasing behavior. Additionally, after you collect all of that customer information that we just went over, including name, phone number, email, and birth date, you as a business owner will have the ability to send unlimited individual, bulk, or even automated push notifications. Now, an example of a individual push notification would be for your VIP customers with maybe a great offer that you now have available. An example of a bulk push notification would be maybe based on the weather. If it's really hot outside, you want to remind people to come in and get a cold beer. And an example of an automated push would be based around maybe a birthday congratulations that you can send to people X amount of days before their birthday to entice them to come in and maybe bring a large party with them to have a birthday celebration at your guys' location. So as I said, we have a really great special offer for you guys. Our loyalty program starts at just $29 a month on a month-to-month basis. We would love to be able to offer you guys 50% off your first month should you decide to move forward with this. Please message us in the chat or contact us at evergreenhq.com and mention that you attended this session when our sales reps reach out to you.
Yeah, and Jeff, there's different levels, right? Like if somebody has multiple locations, they might have a different plan that allows multiple multiple managers or have multiple devices.
Absolutely. We have a variety of different plans available. They can range from $29 a month all the way up to $229 a month. Most of our customers start at that low tier, so very low initial barrier to entry, but you can always discuss the different plans, including how many manager seats you will need with our sales rep moving forward.
Yeah, great. Before we move to the Q&A queue, I want to let everybody know where you can find and follow Chef Alan. So you can keep up with what Alan is blogging about at www.chefallens.com. And you'll see things including, I think there was a recent blog post about knowing your food cost, one of the topics of today's session. He's on Instagram. His handle is Chef Alan Susser. And he's on LinkedIn. You can see his LinkedIn address, or you can search for Alan Susser on LinkedIn and follow him there and learn more about him. So feel free to learn more and connect with Alan in these ways. And as you know, he does consult for restaurants and hospitality businesses. So let's move into Q&A for today's session. One thing Alan, I wanted to follow up on is you talked about the relationship between labor cost and hospitality. Um, and as I've heard you speak about this, it sounds almost like if you train people to do hospitality, is it possible it could actually lower your labor cost or help you with retention when people are in this mode of welcoming the customer? Or is it a case where you have to pay more to get the people who can do that?
Yeah, because great question, Dave. Kind of where I think the cross between labor costs and leadership, and hospitality is motivation. Okay, it's a word that I didn't use before, but kind of if you've got someone who's motivated, they can probably perform at a much greater efficiency, effectiveness, and take on a greater role, and spread more goodwill and probably be a lot more valuable to the customer as well as to the restaurant or the bar. So I think it doesn't mean that you have to pay more. It's a matter of respecting the people that work for you. It's a matter of motivating them, giving them the opportunity to be leaders if that's what they're looking for. Quite honestly, not everyone wants to be a leader. They don't want responsibility. Some people like to come in, punch in, do their job, and go home, and that's okay. But you do need to find some leaders, and with that, these leaders are going to help motivate the rest of the team in so many ways, whether it's in going to the table and noticing something about a family or noticing something about a customer. They're going to create the environment where people will come back.
Great. Um, yeah, it's a curious relationship, right? It's not just so simple as um, you pay for hospitality. It sounds like there's a whole lot of training and reinforcement and leadership. Um, so we have a question for Jeff, and that's what's the experience like of scanning, being in the restaurant, scanning a barcode, and actually signing on with a loyalty program for anybody's restaurant or cafe.
Thank
You,
you
you know what? We
for
could.
asking that.
How about if I even go back to this slide where you have the barcode? Because people
Yeah,
can actually do
absolutely.
this right from their screen, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So essentially, the way this works is, if you were from a customer's perspective, you would scan a loyalty flyer similar to what you see in front of you, and you guys can actually do this if you actually point your smartphone just directly with your camera app at that screen, and it will bring you through the steps that a customer would walk through joining a free loyalty program. And after you walk through those steps, in this particular example, this is a stamp card. So the customer works to earn 8 stamps, and then they get a free reward. Sorry, 10 stamps, and they get the free reward of a coffee and a donut. To ensure that you are managing this correctly, your staff would download a free scanner app that allows it to work on any smartphone, meaning no additional hardware is required. And after your staff scans that loyalty card, they have the ability to provide points and rewards based on the customer's purchasing behavior.
Yeah, very cool. And then for the person who scans this, they fill out like 3 or 4 data fields, and then this actually gets saved right to their wallet, right? Like, so if somebody has an Apple, an iPhone, it saves to their wallet, and they can just go there when they want to track their rewards. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah, that would be either a Google Wallet or an Apple Wallet. It's a native app on all smartphones, so no need to download, an additional app, which is really just cumbersome in this modern era. I think we have another question as well. What strategies do you recommend for enhancing the overall customer dining experience? Well, that one would be to you, Alan.
Sure. Strategies for enhancing the customer experience it begins with keeping it fresh. I think because when it's fresh and it's interesting, it's something that you want to be able to present, whether it's with specials, whether it's with a special cocktail, whether it's integrating it for a holiday, as, kind of sharing that type of experience, because kind of people love to tell their stories. The guests also, they want to tell their stories too, and so that to
Yeah.
get them to tell their story, tell you why they're there, and then you pick up on why they're there. Oh, it's someone's birthday. Hey, it's an anniversary, or it's a congratulations on a job well done, or whatever. And so if you pick up on that and you play into the understanding of why they're there, then you can help them create a better experience. And that they're going to remember for years on end. One of the things that I used to do for a birthday, because generally people, when they make a reservation, they indicate that they're coming in for a birthday. And I actually used to print their name on the menu, so that when they sat down, we had a special set of menus for, let's say, Happy Birthday Bob. And so that when the group sat down, everybody got the menu printed, with Happy Birthday Bob. And it's like, wow, how did you do that? Who do you know? How special are you? And they take it home with them. And so enhancing the experience, doing something that unexpected for them, that is going to want to bring them back, because the next time someone else in that party is going to want to do the same thing, and they want to impress their friends. And so that enhancing the experience is heads up, being motivated, and taking advantage of the components of the evening that are laid out in front of you.
Yeah, that really sounds like great hospitality and something that'd be beyond the expected. Um, I want to come to that restaurant for my next birthday. Um, so we want to be respectful of everyone's time. And we've come to the end of our 30 minutes. We would like to thank everyone today for taking time to learn about how to make restaurants, bars, and other small businesses more profitable. Um, Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Chef Allen. Everyone out there, please stay in touch and have a great day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
A pleasure. Have a good one.
You too.